In the heart of a city that had seen better days, a rundown urban area sprawled with cracked sidewalks and crumbling brick buildings. The air was thick with the scent of diesel and fast food, a stark reminder of the lives intertwined in this forgotten corner. Here, amidst the faded storefronts and flickering streetlights, worked Sam, a janitor who dedicated his days to cleaning the very spaces that many overlooked. Every morning, he donned his worn uniform, a badge of honor that reflected his relentless spirit despite the weight of his circumstances. Sam's life was a tapestry woven with threads of struggle and resilience. He often found solace in his work, sweeping away the remnants of others' disregard and taking pride in creating a clean environment. However, as he scrubbed floors and emptied trash cans, he couldn't help but notice the broader struggles surrounding him. Just a few blocks away, veterans like Mike grappled with their own demons. Men and women who had once donned uniforms, fighting for freedom only to find themselves lost in the chaos of civilian life. The contrast was glaring. While Sam lived paycheck to paycheck, battling bills and making sacrifices to get by, veterans like Mike faced their own battles, silent yet profound. Many wandered the streets with haunted eyes, burdened by memories that lingered long after their service ended. They were reminders of sacrifice, yet often treated as shadows in a city too busy to notice them. This setting served as a backdrop for lives intersecting at unexpected moments. It was in this gritty reality that fate would soon weave together Sam's humble existence with that of a stranded Army veteran, setting the stage for an unforeseen act of kindness that would ripple through their lives and echo into the community. Little did they know, this simple encounter would soon awaken a wave of support that neither could have imagined. Sam was a familiar face in the community, known not just for his diligent work as a janitor, but also for his warm smile and willingness to lend a hand. Each day, he arrived at the local community center early in the morning, ready to tackle the clutter left behind from events and gatherings. A tall man with a sturdy build, his calloused hands told stories of hard labor, yet his gentle demeanor made him approachable to everyone who crossed his path. Despite his meager earnings, Sam found joy in his work. He took pride in transforming the messy spaces into clean, welcoming environments where families could gather and children could play. His commitment didn't go unnoticed. Local residents often expressed their gratitude for his efforts, even leaving small notes of appreciation or homemade treats in the break room. To Sam, these gestures felt like a reminder that kindness still existed amid life's hardships. Away from his job, Sam had built relationships with the regular visitors at the community center. He would chat with the elderly patrons about their lives and listen intently to their stories of yesteryears. He engaged with children during after-school programs, encouraging them with words of affirmation that sparked hope and ambition. It was here that Sam's unwavering spirit shone through. He understood that every act of kindness mattered, no matter how small. However, behind his cheerful exterior lay the burdens of worry. Bills piled up at home, and dreams of pursuing further education seemed distant. Yet Sam never allowed these challenges to define him. Instead, he channeled his energy into uplifting others, while secretly yearning for a chance to change his circumstances. Little did he know that soon he would encounter someone whose struggles mirrored his own, and that this meeting would forever alter both their lives, igniting unexpected camaraderie and support in their shared journey. Mike sat on the side of the road, his heart heavy as he stared at his broken-down car. The vehicle, once a reliable companion during his travels, now sat lifeless with steam billowing from under the hood. Just days ago, he had been filled with purpose, driving back from a visit to a veterans support group, eager to share stories and connect with fellow service members. Instead, he found himself stranded in an unfamiliar city, isolated and anxious. A former Army sergeant, Mike had weathered more than just the rigors of military life. He had borne witness to the complexities of war and its aftermath. Memories of camaraderie were often overshadowed by the darker moments that haunted him, scenes of conflict and loss that replayed in his mind like a relentless film. He had served his country with pride, but now those sacrifices felt distant, replaced by feelings of vulnerability and uncertainty. As he sat there, waiting for help that seemed slow to arrive, a sense of despair washed over him. The city around him buzzed with life, yet he felt like a ghost wandering through shadows. Passers-by glanced in his direction but quickly turned away, lost in their own worlds. Mike's tough exterior began to crack as frustration seeped in. He longed for connection but was reminded of the isolation that so many veterans faced when returning home. He had fought for unity and freedom, but here he was, alone and forgotten amid the concrete jungle. In that moment of desperation, Mike wondered if he would ever find his place again. Would anyone care enough to stop and lend a hand? Little did he know that fate had something unexpected in store for him, a chance encounter with someone who understood struggle and kindness alike. As he waited by the roadside, a quiet hope flickered within him, signaling that perhaps help was on the way after all. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows over the city streets, Sam finished his shift at the community center and stepped outside for some fresh air. It was then that he noticed a figure slumped on a nearby bench, the weight of exhaustion visible in the veteran's posture. The sight tugged at Sam's heartstrings, prompting him to approach. "Hey there, you all right?" Sam asked, his voice warm with concern as he drew closer. Mike looked up, momentarily startled. His weary eyes met Sam's, revealing a mixture of frustration and vulnerability that resonated deeply with the janitor. "Not really," Mike replied, rubbing the back of his neck as he shifted uncomfortably. "My car broke down a few blocks back, and I'm just waiting for someone to help me out." Sam nodded, understanding the frustration that came with feeling stranded. "I know how it feels to be stuck," he said, taking a seat beside Mike. "It can be tough out here. I work at the community center just down the street." "You've been in the service, right?" Mike's expression softened slightly at the mention of shared experiences. "Yeah, I served in the Army," he said, his voice trailing off as he recalled memories both cherished and painful. "Just came from a support group meeting before all this happened." "Thank you for your service," Sam responded earnestly. "I see a lot of veterans struggle around here. It's tough transitioning back into civilian life." Mike sighed, relieved to find someone who understood his world. "It's like you come home and everything feels different. You feel invisible sometimes." As they talked, an unexpected bond formed between them. They shared stories, laughter mingling with moments of silence that spoke volumes about their struggles. In that brief encounter, both men found solace in understanding. The janitor and the veteran forged a connection that transcended their circumstances, hinting at a significant change on the horizon for both of them. As their conversation deepened, Sam felt a surge of empathy for Mike. The weight of his own financial struggles momentarily faded as he thought about the veteran's plight. "Listen," Sam said, glancing around as if to ensure no one was watching. "I know a little diner not far from here. They have the best burgers in town, and it'll be on me." Mike's eyes widened in surprise. "You don't have to do that," he replied, though the hint of hunger was undeniable in his voice. "I want to," Sam insisted, his sincerity evident. "You've been through a lot, and I can't just leave you sitting here like this." With a nod from Mike, they made their way to the diner, the atmosphere shifting from one of despair to a flicker of hope. Once inside, Sam ordered 2 burgers and fries while Mike sat at the booth, still trying to process the unexpected kindness. When the food arrived, the smell alone seemed to lift Mike's spirits. As they ate, they continued sharing stories about life in the Army, their dreams, and the challenges of navigating civilian life. Each bite became a symbol of connection, grounding them both in the present moment. After finishing their meal, Sam hesitated for a moment before broaching a sensitive topic. "If you need a place to rest for the night or some help with your car tomorrow, I can assist you. It's not much, but I have a small couch at home." Mike looked at Sam with gratitude mixed with disbelief. "You really don't have to do this. I don't want to impose." "It's no imposition," Sam reassured him. "We all need a little help sometimes." Realizing that both their lives had been marked by hardship yet also by resilience, Mike found comfort in Sam's offer. This act of generosity illuminated a path forward, a chance for both men to find solace and support in each other during uncertain times. As they sat in the dim light of Sam's small apartment, the warmth of their shared dinner lingered in the air, creating an atmosphere of comfort and openness. The couch, though worn and slightly sagging, became a refuge as Mike settled in, feeling a sense of camaraderie that he hadn't experienced in some time. "So, what was it like?" Sam asked, genuinely curious. "Being in the army, I mean." Mike hesitated for a moment, collecting his thoughts. "It was intense," he began, his voice steady but tinged with nostalgia. "There were times of great brotherhood, when you felt invincible fighting alongside your comrades. But there were also moments that really stick with you, you know? The losses." Sam nodded thoughtfully, understanding the weight of those words. "I can't imagine what that must have been like." He shared his own struggles, recounting stories from his childhood, where supportive friendships had helped him endure tough times. As the evening progressed, laughter mingled with moments of introspection. Mike shared tales of mischief during basic training, while Sam recounted how he started working at the community center after losing his previous job. They discovered similarities in their resilience. Both faced obstacles but clung to hope through connection and a desire to support others. It was in these exchanges that their friendship blossomed. They spoke not just of their pasts but also of dreams for the future. How Mike longed to find steady work and how Sam wished to further his education one day. Each story forged a deeper bond between them, pushing through the barriers that isolation had built. As they settled into a comfortable silence, both men realized they were no longer just a janitor and a veteran. They were friends, two souls navigating their respective battles, united by empathy and understanding. In this moment of connection, hope flourished, signaling a new chapter in both their lives where support could lead to healing and change. After their meal, Sam suggested they step outside for some fresh air. The evening sky had transformed into a canvas of twinkling stars, and the cool breeze felt refreshing against their skin. They found a quiet spot on the small balcony of Sam's apartment, where they could gaze up at the night sky. "Look at those stars," Sam said, pointing upwards. "It's easy to forget how beautiful the world can be when you're caught up in everyday struggles." Mike leaned against the railing, taking a deep breath as he looked up. "You're right. It's like they remind you there's something bigger out there," he replied, his voice thoughtful. The vastness of the universe seemed to echo his own feelings of longing and uncertainty. With the stars as their backdrop, Mike began sharing stories from his time in the military. He spoke of moments filled with camaraderie and laughter, recounting how he and his comrades would joke around during grueling training exercises. Yet, as he delved deeper, the tone shifted. He shared tales of loss and heartbreak, friends who never returned home, challenges that left scars not visible to the eye. Sam listened intently, his heart aching for Mike as he conveyed these memories. "Thank you for sharing that with me," Sam said softly. "It must be tough to carry all that." In return, Sam opened up about his aspirations, his dreams of furthering his education and making a difference in his community. He discussed wanting to become a counselor to help others navigate their own struggles and find hope. As they exchanged these personal stories under the stars, a sense of healing began to unfold between them. In that moment of shared vulnerability, both men recognized the strength found in connection and support. They realized that their paths might be different, but their experiences shaped them in similar ways, each carrying burdens yet also nurturing dreams for brighter tomorrows. The night deepened around them, but it felt lighter somehow, a testament to the bond developing between them. Each word spoken under the stars wove a new thread in their friendship, illuminating a path forward filled with hope and possibility. As dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight streamed through the window, gently rousing Mike from a deep sleep on Sam's couch. He blinked and stretched, momentarily disoriented but comforted by the warmth of the place he had spent the night. As he gathered his thoughts from the previous evening's reflections and connections, a sudden noise outside caught his attention. Curious, Mike rose and made his way to the window. What he saw made him freeze in disbelief. A group of military personnel had arrived, their official vehicles parked neatly along the street, drawing curious onlookers from nearby homes. The sight stirred a wave of emotions within him. Anxiety and uncertainty washed over him as he wondered if they were there for him. Sam, having just stepped into the living room, noticed Mike's tense expression. "What's going on?" he asked, following Mike's gaze. When he saw the military presence outdoors, his eyes widened in surprise. "I don't know," Mike admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I think they're here for me." Before they could speculate further, a familiar face emerged from the group, a fellow veteran whom Mike recognized from his service days. The man waved enthusiastically and made his way towards Sam's apartment, clearly excited to see Mike. "Hey, Mike, we've been looking everywhere for you," he exclaimed, relief evident in his voice. "We heard about your car troubles and wanted to make sure you're okay." As more service members approached, Mike felt his heart race. They expressed concern and camaraderie, offering assistance not only with his vehicle, but also with resources for veterans struggling to transition back to civilian life. The unexpected support overwhelmed him with gratitude. Word began to spread through the neighborhood as others peeked out to witness the scene. A gathering of military personnel rallying around one of their own. It was a stirring sight that drew smiles and nods of approval from residents who understood the significance of such solidarity. In that moment, amidst the morning light and the hum of voices filled with concern and support, Mike realized that he was no longer alone. His burdens were now shared by those who understood the weight of sacrifice. Hope blossomed as he looked at Sam, who stood by his side witnessing this unexpected display of friendship and community, a testament to the bonds formed through shared experiences and unwavering support. As news spread throughout the neighborhood about the military personnel gathered outside Sam's apartment, a buzz of excitement filled the air. Local residents began to peek out from their windows and step onto their porches, drawn by the sight of service members, some in uniform, others in casual attire, meeting with Mike and offering him assistance. The scene quickly became a focal point, igniting conversations among neighbors who had been observing from a distance. "This is amazing," exclaimed Mrs. Thompson, an elderly woman living down the block, as she leaned on her fence. "I never knew they cared so much." Her eyes sparkled with pride as she recalled how her late husband had served in the military. One by one, people began to gather, creating an impromptu gathering that echoed with warmth and camaraderie. The chatter rose with enthusiasm, and some even brought out coffee and pastries to share among those present, as if celebrating a reunion rather than a moment in crisis. It was an opportunity for the community to come together, united not just by geographical proximity but by shared experiences and values. Children played nearby, whispering excitedly about the uniforms and what it meant to serve. A couple of veterans in the crowd exchanged stories of their own service days, comparing patches and reminiscing about times gone by. The mood was infectious as laughter reverberated through the street. Sam watched from his balcony, a sense of pride swelling within him. His simple act of kindness towards Mike had created ripples beyond what he could have imagined. The community's reaction not only acknowledged his gesture but also emphasized the significance of support for those who had served. It was a reminder that kindness thrived when shared. It sparked joy and connection among people who often felt isolated. As Mike interacted with his fellow veterans, he felt engulfed by a wave of warm familiarity. This gathering wasn't just about him. It signified something larger, a show of solidarity that resonated deeply within the hearts of both those who served and those who supported them. In that moment, under the watchful eyes of their neighbors, it became clear that compassion could bridge any divide and foster hope in times of uncertainty. As the morning unfolded and the buzz of excitement settled, a military officer stepped forward to address the gathering crowd. With a firm yet warm voice, he expressed gratitude on behalf of the unit, highlighting the significance of camaraderie and support among veterans. "Today, we recognize not only Mike for his service but also Sam," he announced, turning to face the janitor. "It takes immense character to extend a helping hand to someone in need, and we are grateful for your kindness." The words resonated with the audience, who nodded in agreement. Sam felt a rush of humility wash over him as the officer continued. Sam's selflessness embodies what it means to be part of a community. He didn't just help a veteran. He reminded us all of the bonds that unite us. With that, the officer motioned for Mike to join him at the front of the gathering. The crowd applauded, creating a wave of appreciation that filled the air. Mike stood tall, pride illuminating his face despite the vulnerability he often felt. "Today, we honor both men with a small token of our gratitude," the officer said, presenting them with challenge coins, a cherished military tradition symbolizing honor and respect. As he handed one to Mike, he added, "This represents your strength and service." Then, turning to Sam, he said, "And this is for you, a reminder of your kindness and the impact it has on those around you." The neighborhood erupted in cheers and applause, with residents joining in to celebrate the moment. Children waved handmade signs expressing their thanks to both men for their contributions. The atmosphere was electric with joy and connection. As laughter and smiles filled the street, Sam and Mike exchanged glances, silently acknowledging how far they had come since their initial meeting. This recognition was not just for their individual journeys, but also for the profound friendship they had forged together. A friendship that had illuminated their lives in ways neither had anticipated. In that moment, surrounded by a supportive community and fellow veterans, they understood that compassion could create ripples of positive change, fostering hope and resilience in the hearts of many. As the dust settled from the morning's events, both Sam and Mike found themselves transformed by the experience they had shared. For Mike, the recognition from his fellow veterans and the community marked a significant turning point in his life. No longer the isolated soldier grappling with memories of the past, he felt embraced by a network of support that understood his struggles. The camaraderie and connection reignited his sense of purpose, reminding him that he was not alone in navigating civilian life. Encouraged by the outpouring of encouragement, Mike began to explore local resources for veterans, eager to regain his footing and contribute positively to society once more. For Sam, witnessing the impact of his kindness brought newfound clarity to his aspirations. The recognition he received from the military and the community illuminated the importance of his role as a janitor and caretaker of the neighborhood. He realized that his work extended beyond cleaning. It was about fostering community spirit and supporting those around him. Inspired by this realization, Sam decided to pursue further education in social work, aiming to become a counselor for veterans like Mike, where he could use his empathy and experiences to help others heal. The bond that had formed between Sam and Mike became a source of strength for both men as they navigated their respective paths forward. They agreed to stay in touch, meeting regularly for coffee and conversations that continued to inspire them both. Together, they transformed their individual struggles into mutual support, each encouraging the other to embrace opportunities while healing from their pasts. As weeks turned into months, their friendship flourished, demonstrating how a single act of kindness could ripple through lives, creating lasting change. In their journeys toward resilience and growth, both Sam and Mike found not just friendship but a shared mission: to uplift others in their community and ensure no one felt alone in their battles again. Their lives were forever altered, illustrating that compassion can indeed foster hope and create profound connections in unexpected ways. In a world often clouded by hardship and isolation, the story of Sam and Mike serves as a powerful reminder of the impact one person's kindness can have on another's life. Their unexpected encounter transformed not only their own lives but also resonated throughout their community, showcasing how small acts of generosity can ripple outwards to create profound change. This narrative illustrates that we all have the capacity to make a difference, no matter how insignificant our actions may seem. Sam, a humble janitor with his own struggles, chose to extend a helping hand to a stranded veteran in need. In doing so, he not only supported Mike during a tough moment, but also fostered a bond that blossomed into a friendship rooted in shared experiences and mutual understanding. Together, they discovered that when one feels uplifted, it can inspire others to join in that spirit of kindness. The response from the community further highlights the importance of collective support. As people rallied around Mike and acknowledged Sam's gesture, it became clear that compassion is a two-way street. In offering help, Sam ignited a sense of belonging and solidarity among his neighbors, encouraging them to appreciate the value of community relationships. Ultimately, this story reinforces the idea that kindness is contagious. It encourages others to act similarly. Each person has the power to alter someone's trajectory with even the simplest gesture: a smile, an offer of assistance, or simply taking the time to listen. As Sam and Mike continue their journeys side by side, supporting others along the way, they exemplify how meaningful connections can emerge from vulnerability and openness. In our increasingly disconnected world, let us remember the legacy of Sam and Mike, that each small act of kindness contributes to a greater tapestry of hope, reminding us that together we can overcome obstacles and uplift one another through life's challenges.